All roads lead here.
South Dakota State's season has built towards one moment, the chance to defend their FCS National Title.
Standing in their way, another storied FCS power looking to awaken their own echoes of glory.
History will be made.
Legacies will be forged.
And a champion will be crowned.
At the end of the road to Frisco.
This is The Road to Frisco, a Dakota News Now sports special, sponsored by Lifescape, Touchmark, J&R Mechanical, and First Bank and Trust.
And welcome to our final Road to Frisco show of the year. It won't be our last. We hope we'll do many more in future years, but it's been quite a year, especially throughout the playoffs. I'm Mark Ovenden, and you are Zach Board.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it. It has all come down to this, been leading to this. We kind of thought it would be coming here. The FCS Championship game here in Frisco, Texas, South Dakota State. Kind of thought we would be here, as they are now 28 straight wins, going for their 29th, coming up in about an hour here against Montana in the FCS National Title game.
14 straight wins this year in defense of their title.
Yeah, of course, their only loss was last season. I was at that game, the 7-3 loss at the University of Iowa, which seems more like it was about 10 years ago right now.
And the most impressive of all these wins throughout this streak of 14 straight, the incredible run that they've been on was the game at Dana J. Dykehouse, and the game to get here as they steamrolled the Great Danes of Albany 59-0 to earn a spot in today's title game. It is the third time in 4 years that the Jacks have made it to the championship, and you could just tell from the celebration in Brookings. Look at that. It was so cool. It never gets old. Especially meaningful for the seniors who will play their final game today and who could have written really a better script for this. They've had such a great experience, and in their final home game in Brookings on what was a magical night with the mist and the lights, it was just like from the movies before almost 13,000 fans who enjoyed every minute of it.
I caught myself a lot looking around at all the fans, at the lights, the mist coming in. It was magical, you know. Jackson and I were standing there together, and we couldn't believe the ride we've been on and the blessings that have been given to us.
It's been an unreal experience. Just coming out here, seeing these fans, seeing this crowd, and all the support we've had. It's been an amazing experience, but we're not done yet.
And just to be a part of it, and just to be able to do my part and to give everything to this university, because it means so much to me, and I know it means a lot to everyone on the team and our coaches and everyone's support. But yeah, it just means a lot to us.
It's not easy. You gotta take every win, enjoy every win. So it's been a great year, and there's one way to cap it off. So that's what we're aiming to do. It was an amazing crowd tonight. The energy in here was incredible. Just kind of looking around and thinking back over the last 6 years, it's been an amazing ride, and there's really no better way to finish out my career at Dana J. Dykehouse, something like that. But it's been incredible and a lot of fun.
The feeling of you going to Frisco, I would say, is just as good as winning in Frisco. Because you have 3 weeks of memories, you have a whole week in Frisco, with the boys, doing a whole lot of fun stuff. So now I'm excited. I'm excited to be with this group of guys for a couple more weeks and make some more memories.
Now, one night later, there was a record-setting crowd in Missoula for the other semifinal matchup, which the Montana Grizzlies won in double overtime. The FCS powerhouse from the 90s and early 2000s, knocking off the Bison, who won 9 of 12 championships before losing to the Jackrabbits last year in Frisco. This was extra meaningful for Bobby Hawk and his team based on who they beat to get back to the biggest stage, and they are excited to face the defending champions.
But it all goes back to staying healthy. Each of the last 2 teams, 21 and 22, had potential to be where we're sitting now and weren't able to get there. Last year in particular, I think it was a matter of we played, 4 of the top 5 on the road over a 6-week span, and that's a tall task, especially for a team that was as injured as we were.
Our entire team's just done a good job of improving throughout the entire season. If you look at our first game against Butler to our last game against North Dakota State, we look like a different team, and I think that's just testament to the guys inside of the locker room and the coaches just going to work each and every day.
I think the past two teams understood the ability that we had to be in this game. But we've stayed healthy. We've put our nose to the grindstone, and we've just gotten better every week. Coming into this season, we were in a unique position to where in the modern day of college football, where all 5 starters returned from the previous season. And like you said, chemistry is everything on the offensive line. I've known these guys for 3+ years at this point. Each and every one of us has improved on the things that we've needed to improve on, while simultaneously working together as a unit to do what we need to do to win football games. So I'm super proud of the unit that we've developed over the course of these last 2 years, and roll that on into Frisco.
So there's a look at your matchup. South Dakota State, the defending national champions, against the Grizz, ranked number 2. It's a dream matchup, 1 against 2. Grizzlies lead this series 8-0. Now they have won 2 national championships, but haven't since 2001. Jacks have steamrolled everybody so far along the way, 123-12 in 3 playoff wins. All right, up next, we'll talk with the FCS Coach of the Year, Jimmy Rogers, who's 1 win away from perfection in his first year as head coach of his Jackrabbits.
You're watching The Road to Frisco, a Dakota News Now sports special.
And welcome back to our Road to Frisco pregame show. I'm with Jimmy Rogers, whose team getting ready to play Montana here in the championship game this afternoon on ABC. First of all, I'm guessing Christmas time is a time for all of us to reflect on what we're grateful for. You got a lot to be grateful for.
Yeah, I'm blessed to be the head coach here. I'm blessed to be able to work with the guys I have on this staff and just this team, and overall just the extra time that we've been able to spend together on this run to the championship. So it's been a special year, and we need to finish it out.
It was cool to be at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium after you'd beaten Albany and just see how much that meant to your senior players.
Yeah, it meant the world. You could see the emotions on their face, and you could surely feel it pre-game and just building up to the game. And after the game, there's just the amount of people that were down on the field and the fans experiencing that moment with them was pretty special.
And the singing the song, playing the fiddle and going to Texas, and that was a pretty surreal moment, I think, for those guys in particular.
Yeah, we've heard it 3 times, 3 out of the last 4, and we've heard it many other times where it hasn't been for us. So I told them after the game the confetti will fall on somebody's head, and we're hoping it's us.
It's funny you bring that up, because I remember how when Sam Houston rallied to win that game 4 years ago, whatever it was, 3.5 years ago, that seemed to really motivate the guys that watched it happen. Instead of going back and sulking, I think they soaked it in and said, all right, next time we want that to be us.
Yeah, that's a unique feeling. You know, you work year-round, and that time was a unique time of just football for us because it was being played in the spring, and to have that experience of being so close and then it ripped away from you, I think it meant the world to this group, because there's a lot of guys still on that team that were a part of that. They experienced it and trying to get back there. We were able to do that. We were able to win, and I think the other experience is just as motivating, the one where you're standing on the stage and it is you. So we haven't lost sight of that, but at the same time it's being where you're at and making the most of the moments where you're present at, and we're blessed to have the group that we have to do it with.
I just want to reflect for a second, because the coolest part of Frisco last year to me was that walk. And walking along with Stig and high-fiving the fans. And it seems so spontaneous. I don't think anybody quite realized what it was until it happened, and it was like, wow.
Yeah, we didn't know either. But it was a really cool moment, and really excited for our guys and to be able to do that again with them, because it was more than what we initially thought. We thought we were just going to get off the bus and then to walk maybe 100 yards with, a sea of blue on both sides of you really supporting you. It was really special for us as a program. It was special for the players, surely.
All right, you play Montana today. I'm sure I'm not the first person that said, Jimmy, make sure you kick the ball away from Junior Bergen.
Yeah, he's really special. He's done unbelievable things throughout the entire season, but these last couple of games, he's been a real threat in the return game, and we got to be smart and make sure we do a good job tackle him when he does get the ball, because some of those opportunities, like a punt, he's going to run after it to go get it, and we got to either do a good job nailing it, pin it to the sidelines, or tackle him if he is to get it.
Or kick it out of bounds.
Yeah, and then the whole place blues when we kick it 5 yards down the field.
I don't think too many people will boo. They might be wearing maroon and silver. I don't think the blue folks would do that. All right, so from your standpoint, obviously, with this offensive line you've got, we've talked about this all season long. If you can control that line of scrimmage, I'm guessing that's going to be the key to the game.
Yeah, I think that's on both sides. Just winning the battle up front and winning the point of contact is kind of everything, knocking people off the ball. Our offensive line is mature and ready for this moment, and I'm excited to see what they can do. And then defensively, it's very similar. We gotta control the line of scrimmage on defense to minimize their gains in the run game, and really limit the quarterback as much as we possibly can, because he is a great athlete. He will make you miss. So it will be a battle for sure, and we're excited for it.
And lastly, Montana's got a storied tradition. They've won national titles before. Joe Glenn won one. But they haven't been here in a while. I'm guessing the experience will be a huge advantage for your guys.
Yeah, I think going through it and knowing what to expect is really cool. But at the end of the day, you're playing football on a 100-yard field somewhere else, and we got to get out there and play with great energy and communicate well with one another and give it our best.
And you know you will have almost a home field advantage with how crazy that turnout was last year. It'll be the same again today.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I'll be excited to see what that stadium looks like. I know Montana has a great fan base. I know we have a great fan base. So I'm hoping our fans were able to get tickets and we'll be able to show up and be loud for us today.
And I don't think there's any question they will show up and be loud. And the one thing out of that whole interview that I hope he takes to heart was my suggestion, kick it away from Junior Bergen, please. Jacks have just rolled everybody in the playoffs. Their winning margin is over 100 points in 3 games.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's been hearing that a few times. And with certainly everybody back from last year's championship game, they've got a huge edge, and they are eager to keep this magical championship run going.
We know what to expect in a normal year and how to handle it and how to handle our time while we're down there. So that's definitely huge, and it'll be a good experience hopefully again this year.
It's awesome. You know what I'm saying? You know the feeling of you going back to Frisco is just unbelievable. You know, after the game, everybody hearing the song you're playing Texas, it's a different feeling. You can't really explain it. I'm extremely blessed, like I said before, just be a part, special group, man, special guys. You know, we got 18 seniors, and I wouldn't do it to anybody else.
It's a brotherhood here. We're playing for each other, just playing for the seniors. Their last time playing at Dana J. It's just to send them out on the right note.
I mean, this time it's really all going to be for the seniors. We got so many guys on this team that have given so much to this program, and really just playing for them one last time is going to be a huge thing for us.
For those guys in particular, they know they have one more game left, and that is it. You got lots of fans. One more game left. As an underclassman, obviously you don't try harder because of that, but kind of you do.
No, you really do. I mean, Mason was one of the first guys that really took me under his wing when I first got here and really vouched for me to be the starting quarterback, and I can't thank him enough for that. But, I mean, I just built such a great relationship with a lot of these guys.
Obviously, the target was on your back all year, but what does it mean to you having gone through all that pressure all year long?
I mean, we're blessed to have pressure. You know, pressure is a privilege. You want pressure. That's why you come here to play in these big games. And just we have a ton of belief in one another. And ultimately, we're extending our season as long as we can because we all want more time together. And we ultimately got it. It's the season as long as we could be. And it's really cool.
Up next, the Jacks' future looks really bright with a very talented recruiting class. Need a couple of those guys, and also one of the seniors that they'll try to replace in Isaiah Davis. That's next. You know, as the people in Frisco found out in the spring of 2021, Isaiah Davis does not go down easily.
Yeah, beast mode with that one. And when you learn about his family and everything he had to overcome growing up, you find out pretty quickly why. Even on a clear day in Brookings, there's a sound of thunder that follows Isaiah Davis when he carries a football. Those trying to tackle him feel it.
Yeah, I love it. I love stiff arm too a little bit.
He had a ball in his hand since he was probably 3 years old or younger.
Ball might have been his first word.
Cedric and Brandy Davis are used to it since their youngest of 5 children has run like a man amongst boys since he was a boy.
Just about every time he played, we saw something that would make you think that.
Made some things shake. I was just playing corner too. I was used to be like the fast, like the speed demon, but now kind of got some size and some weight on me, so got to use that strength.
Football was far from the only sport he excelled at growing up in Joplin, Missouri, making May 22, 2011 a normal whirlwind day for 9-year-old Isaiah and his family.
We had a baseball game that day.
I noticed like the clouds in the sky, just how big and puffy they were.
Until it wasn't.
We got home, saw the trees across the street in my neighbor's yard, kind of lean. And then everything kind of stopped, and then next thing you know, I saw him lean to where you knew something was happening, And by the time I turned to go back into the house, you could hear, kind of like a train, like the walls rumbling, the floor rumbling, and then I knew.
An EF5 tornado with winds of more than 200 miles per hour struck Joplin that day.
I grabbed everybody and threw them in the hallway, and the boys had bunk beds, and I took one of the top bunks mattresses off and threw it on top of us.
We was under the mattress, just praying constantly, and I didn't know what to think. So I'm just in a cradle position, looking to my right, that the wall being destroyed next to me with my mom, my dad, my brother, my 2 dogs. We were just praying, and my dad kept screaming, praying that if it took anyone, it would be him. So it just shows you the love that we have for our family.
The Davis' home was one of nearly 4,400 destroyed.
So the whole house is gone. Like the little area that we were laying down under our mattress in the hallway was the only really part standing up to the house.
It likely kept them from being among the 158 who lost their lives.
I've always kind of thought out, what would happen, in a tornado, because I would have hated if I would have froze up and, been a different story.
With help from their insurance, friends, and family, the Davises stayed in Joplin.
I was really shocked, a couple years after that, anytime I heard like rain or thunder, I was immediately thinking it was a tornado, but not go over that hump. But I think the biggest takeaway from that was just, safety, taking care of your family.
Isaiah would go on to lead their high school team to the state championship game and earn the Missouri Gatorade Player of the Year award. Since becoming a Jackrabbit in 2021, he's run for more than 3,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, and become an FCS National Champion. Though he has a year of COVID eligibility left, this will likely be Isaiah's final year in Brookings as he aims to be selected in next year's NFL Draft.
He was probably, 5, 6. Both of the Manning were playing that night, at Thursday night, and they were talking to their parents, and he said, that's going to be you guys one day. And I believe in him. And I don't think there's anything going to be able to stop him.
Touting severe weather awareness with the rest of his family, and with his hometown close to his heart, Davis no longer fears the sound of thunder.
It's still crazy even now, just thinking about where I'm at and how I came about this journey. And I'm gonna take it one step at a time. See how it goes. But when that time comes, walk with my family. I'm gonna embrace it. I'm gonna love it and love them up with me.
And now Isaiah has worked to become a force of nature.
What a great story. Nice job, Zach, on that. That's just a really inspirational story.
He's a heck of a guy.
Even with some of these talented seniors graduating, the future still looks very bright. Jack signing the top player in Minnesota and South Dakota in December. Maxwell Woods from Chan Hansen flipped from North Dakota State. And this guy, Jack Smith of Lincoln, shattered the record books in South Dakota. Both are going to play in Brookings, and it looks like a perfect fit for both of the most talented players around who have a chance to make an immediate impact as well with the Jackrabbits.
Just amazing coaches, culture, family, all of it down there, and it just felt like it was a great fit for me, football-wise, school-wise, and for my family.
I think it is a great fit. I do believe Maxwell has the talent to help us early. I do believe he can play in multiple positions in our offense, and we're going to utilize him that way. And we have the capability to do that as far as getting him out of the backfield and allowing him to work in space. But Maxwell will be an every down back at some point in his career.
I really like what they're doing there. I like the culture and everything that's happening there, and I really see what's going to happen.
Yeah, so. Jack is a hard-working kid that has gotten everything that he's done thus far. He's works extremely hard. He's really passionate about the wide receiver position and developing in that. And I think this year he really took a step in his game, even more so than his junior year. Broke numerous school records. I think he broke a couple state records. And we're just blessed to have him. I think he's just a great person, too, to add to your program because of his character and his leadership and just how he goes about his business.
And get this, he's a fourth-generation jackrabbit in his family. He basically had no choice. Little extra pressure at home, although he still is excited about this, to follow in the family tradition in Brookings. Congrats to Jack Smith. Up next, we'll talk with a guy who's very responsible for SDSU being on top of the mountain. He won't admit to it, but we're going to say it for him. Stig is up next.
You're watching The Road to Frisco, a Dakota News Now sports special.
And welcome back to our Road to Frisco pregame show.
You know, I think it's going to be a nice day today. We're talking about it. What I'm worried about is the drive home. So let's send it to Aaron Dowdna for a quick update on both of those areas and the weather. Aaron?
Hey there, football fans. Let's go ahead and take a look at that Frisco forecast here for the Jacks' big game down here in Texas and playing Montana, of course. And it's looking like it's going to be pretty nice. Average high down there in Frisco this time of year is supposed to be right around 57 degrees. And we're going to be right about that here by the time the game kicks off. Now, first, if you're going to be getting there a little early, do a little bit of tailgating here, mid to late morning. We're talking about temperatures that are going to be in the 40s, calm wind, so not too bad. Then when the game kicks off here at 1 o'clock, 55 degrees, lots of sunshine, wind about 5 to 10 miles an hour, just a perfect day for some football down there in northern Texas. And then once you're done with the game, maybe head back to the hotel, maybe you're going to hit the road and come back. The temperature is going to be in the upper 50s, light southeast wind is going to be fantastic. Great day for football, but compared to the other games that the Jacks have played, it's a lot nicer. Of course, all those games were up in Brookings at Dana J. Dykehouse Stadium. And December 2nd against Mercer, temperatures were in the 30s and it was breezy. And then I think everybody remembers that game against Villanova where we had blowing snow. Wind was blowing 40 to 50 miles an hour. Temperatures were in the 20s. And then just a few weeks ago, December 15th there against Albany, temperatures were in the 40s. We had light wind. So this is by far the nicest weather that we're going to have for playoff Jackrabbit football. And I hope you guys enjoy it and be safe on the way back. In the meantime, we'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Aaron, thanks. It sounds like a great day today for a ball game, and again, the challenge will be going home. We actually were white balanced before you showed up. I don't know how we were prepared for the show because that's the first question you always ask.
Well, I want to be part of the broadcast, and that's the only thing I know about this whole thing, so yes.
John Stigemeyer is our guest. And Stig, what's it like to be here this year? As you walked in, I said, geez, you look kind of relaxed. It's a whole different responsibility for you now as a fan.
Yeah, what's it like? What you see on the outside is different than what you see on the inside. A lot of unique emotions. They've gotten stronger as the season's gone on, and they're really tied to the Jackrabbit football players. I love those guys. My wife and I were blessed to be around them. They are unbelievable individuals. You know that. You guys have been around them. And so I'm excited. I'm emotional. Can't wait for the game.
On one hand, a year ago you're probably game planning, but you're the ambassador now for this university. Are you spending more time now just talking to fans, being that ambassador this year as the coach emeritus?
Wait, he's always done that.
Yeah, it's been fun. What an honor it is for. I'm done coaching, and people come up to you and say, "Hey, coach, how you doing?" And so if I can use that term, be an ambassador, my wife and I and our family owe South Dakota State so much. We were able to live our dream. I've said that so many times. I'm going to say it again, a dream come true.
I know you felt really good about turning the reins over to Jimmy. You got to feel even better now that we're 14 games into his career. No losses, but things are being done the way you would approve.
Well, Jimmy Rogers is a great leader. Yes, I feel great about turning the reins over to him. As I got closer to the end of my tenure, I talked about the assistants that I thought would be great head coaches, and I said they'll all be better head coaches than I am. Jimmy Rogers is a great head football coach.
Prediction on the game today? What are your thoughts?
Well, I believe in the Jackrabbits. I don't do scores, but I think the Jacks will be smiling at the end.
Is this kind of full circle for you? The first ever playoff game for you was against Montana. I know Bobby Hawk mentioned he watched the FBS title game with you last year right after you won it and was happy to see you win that title. A little full circle to be kind of here and watching this now?
Without a doubt. I mean, first of all, Bobby is a dear friend and a great football coach, and I think there's a lot of guys like him in our profession, but I've gotten to know him because of the competition. So, yeah, I'll never forget that first playoff in 2009 and the emotions that went with that based on how it turned out, but excited for him and the Jackrabbits.
Stig, thanks for showing up here. Appreciate it. It's always great to see you. Give Lori a big hug for me, okay? And tell Jerry hi, too.
Is my son still going to get a scholarship? Yeah. I don't know if Jimmy's going to give my son that scholarship that you had promised him. But,
I'll get it in writing. He'll take care of it. Dean will be taking care of it.
That's appreciated. Thanks a bunch. Hey, up next, we're going to talk Montana football with guys that cover that team. And we'll also talk about two guys on the offensive line who are a key to the Jackrabbit success, have been throughout their career. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Road to Frisco. I'm Mark Ovenden with Zach Borg. There's no question that the strength of the South Dakota State team has been the line, and they are led by two sensational seniors.
Yeah, Garrett Greenfield, Mason McCormick, just two big-time talents, two of the most visible and star-studded guys on this team, and they have been at the heart of that 605 Hogs team culture. Though Rock Valley's Garrett Greenfield and Sioux Falls' Mason McCormick grew up 41 miles apart, they connected pretty quickly the first time they met.
Game day visit here, I think we were both already committed, and we hit it off right away, and it was like 7 years ago now, which is kind of crazy to me to think.
These days, the pair are so recognizable with South Dakota State that they may well be the old men of the group.
I like to think I'm still young and spry, and I still got it.
With Garrett a tackle and Mason a guard, they were paired up almost instantly, both on the field and off as roommates.
It's definitely an adjustment living in Benowese Hall, living with another guy in like an 8x12 room.
It's almost kind of eerie how much we've grown together. I mean, just the same things have been happening to us, and we've done so many different cool stuff together, and it's really fun to count on each other and just know where a guy's going to be.
And would become staples of what former offensive line coach Jason Eck coined the 605 Hogs. 6 standing for 60 minutes of full, relentless effort and play, 0 for 0 excuses, and 5 playing as one.
You got to play the game with some passion. I believe that's, for me, the only way to play the game. And that's kind of who I am, but also you got to be able to control it.
We're the motor for the offense and the team. Like, we set the tone at practice. If we need to have high energy, and we know that spills over to other positions as well. It's a badge of honor to be a 605 Hog and represent the state of South Dakota.
Together, they've helped lead a golden era of Jackrabbit football, paving the way for a rushing attack and offense ranked at or near the top of the FCS during their tenures, and delivering the program's first national title last year.
Those guys in particular have set the standard of what it is to play O-line here. When you have such a high caliber player, you recruit in that way. You think who is this? How does this kid compare to Mason McCormick or Garrett Greenfield? And that will probably always be the comparison.
Though each will likely have NFL futures ahead, there's a good chance that their final game in this year's FCS Championship will be their last one together. It's hard to picture not being at each other's sides in the future.
Talking with him, joking with him, laughing at stupid little jokes in the line room. But it's been an incredible honor, these last 6 years, and it's something I'll cherish forever.
Yet easy to imagine how they want to go out.
And welcome back to Road to Frisco. I'm Mark Ovenden with Zach Borg. We've got Shine Rainey with us, who's with our ABC and Fox affiliate out in Missoula, and you're the sports director. You're excited to be here. You went to school there, right?
I did, yeah. alum, and 14 years ago I was a student when they last went to the national championship game, and now here covering it. So it's been pretty fun.
What is the excitement level? Because I'm guessing from the passion fans you've got, it's pretty high.
Oh, it's through the roof, because 14 years ago when it was Chattanooga, it was just the week after the semifinal game. So not a lot of planning. There wasn't all the kind of pomp and circumstance, kind of the build-up and all the fun events leading up to it. So Grizz fans are very, very excited.
Nice.
It's also cool because he and I worked together at another station in Montana about that time in 2010. This was back when Montana was the blue blood. It was kind of a lean decade after we left. What's it taking for them to get back? And obviously Bobby Hawk returning in 2018 has helped a lot. What's it taking for them to get back to this point, back to a championship?
Yeah, well, you said it. Probably Coach Al coming back, right? Struggled kind of in between there with a few different coaches, but really I think getting back to the roots, the Montana roots. They're bringing in a lot more Montana kids on the roster. And we heard kind of Coach Jimmy Rogers talk about it at the press conference as well, getting a lot of those kids from their state. And they have a certain special pride in playing for either South Dakota State or Montana. And I think that really goes a long way at this level of football.
Offensively, the guy you got to watch for is this guy, on kick returns especially. Don't kick it to Bergen if you're South Dakota State, because he won the last 2 games for you guys.
Hey, we were saying after the Furman game, North Dakota State, there's no way that you can kick it to number 5, and yet they did, and sometimes it happens, and he is absolutely electric with the football. And Coach Hauck, he's a special teams guru, so yes, if you're South Dakota State, I would not let number 5 touch the football.
And you talked a little bit with John Stiglmeyer. I get the feeling they want to kind of win it for Bobby because he's been around a long time. He had the 3 kicks at his national champ. How much do you think they kind of want to give him his crowning moment?
Well, absolutely. I mean, he's a legacy coach at Montana, but has not yet won the national championship game. So if he can come through in the biggest moment, I mean, that would be massive for Montana.
All right, last quick question. Can the Grizzlies upset the Jackrabbits?
I think it's possible. They're the kind of team that can really make the game ugly, and they're okay playing kind of an ugly type of football game. They're going to have South Dakota State make some mistakes, certainly, I think, to pull off the upset. But they're a team that went into Washington and beat them, so they can get it done.
Thanks, John, so much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, they're a hard-nosed team for sure. All right, up next, speaking of Washington, how's that for a transition? Kalen DeBoer's Washington Huskies are playing tomorrow night for a national championships. The Millbank native, we'll hear from him when we come back.
You're watching The Road to Frisco, a Dakota News Now sports special.
And welcome back to The Road to Frisco. Kickoff is getting closer, getting kind of anxious here. Jackrabbits, not the only team in our region with a chance to go undefeated and come back as defending champions.
Yeah, the Northwestern Red Raiders played in the NAIA National Championship just a few weeks ago down in Durham, North Carolina. They brought a similar winning streak of 28 games to play against Kaiser, the team they beat in the title game a year ago. But the Seahawks struck right away on a long touchdown run, and the Red Raiders were playing catch-up all day. They rallied in the fourth quarter, but a big punt return sealed the victory for the Seahawks, 31-21. Still another amazing season for Matt McCarty's team.
And we kept battling. We wanted to make it tough on them in the second half, and our guys kept battling. We gave ourselves a shot there in the fourth quarter, and I'm just proud of how our guys competed.
And again, just another amazing couple of years for the Red Raiders. They're not going anywhere, almost a mirror image of what the Jackrabbits have been doing.
Now, despite the loss to the Bison in the quarterfinals, USD has plenty to be proud about. They won 3 games last year and bumped that up to 10 this year, and they feel really good about where they're headed. Brendan Webb talked to me after the game was over. Yeah, it was a bitter pill to swallow, but he was still pretty proud of his team.
It's one of those things where life brings you a lot of roadblocks. This football team has put a lot of passion, a lot of themselves into this program, so the fact that my wheels fell off doesn't mean that this program is anywhere from falling off. So I believe that they'll continue going forward and will truly be a championship team one day.
You won 3 games last year.
Yeah.
You won 10 games this year. Bob Nielsen was Coach of the Year in the Missouri Valley. I mean, what a way to go out.
It's nice, but it's still not a ring. It's great. Trust me, it's a foundational piece, but it's not what we wanted.
That's going to make all of you guys feel like this is a whole mentality shift. It's a culture change.
It is. I really do believe that culture has changed, not only because of what we've done this year, but because of the work that we put on in the offseason. So I do believe that every single one of those guys are going to take this program to the next level.
What a great guy. He's going to be a huge success in life, no matter what it is. All right, how about the incredible season our buddy Kalen DeBoer and his Washington Huskies are having? He was named FBS Coach of the Year, took a 13-0 record into the Sugar Bowl last Monday in New Orleans, and won a thriller over Texas, advancing to Monday's title game. And it was what Kalen learned in Millbank and also at USF that has shaped his approach to coaching every step of the way. It's just been a series of amazing things that have happened to the Millbank, South Dakota native.
You know, my purpose and my why in coaching had a lot to do with what I experienced, whether it be in high school or college. And to me, shaping these guys and helping them through one of the most influential times in their life, where I think you have this growth that can happen as you figure out kind of who you are as a person. That's what happened to me. And it kind of gave me a little bit of a jump on understanding what the recipe is for making a championship team. I've made it my own, along with the coaching staff. And again, surrounding yourself with the right people who have great perspective really helps make that go, at a much faster pace than maybe what it is sometimes at other places.
To change the culture as quickly as he's done, simply amazing. Congrats to Kalen on all he has done on the big stage Monday night. We're all cheering for him. Up next, we'll hear from the guys who cover the Jackrabbits and get their thoughts about today's game. We're talking about Tom and Tyler. They'll be right back with us. Stay with us.
Back in Texas, game time is approaching, and we've got some experts joining us for some more analysis.
Who better to have these two guys who cover the team all season long? You not quite as much as you, but you guys are with the team. Tom Neiman, Tyler Merriam. Tyler, you're the voice of the Jackrabbits. You get close to a team when you're traveling with them all the time and you're calling their games and you get to know them. How cool is it for you as the announcer to be here with the team?
Well, you especially get close to them when they've been here for 6 years, like so many of these guys have. So it's been so much fun to get to know these individuals and to know how long of a process this was to win a title a year ago and to see the expectations they had coming in. And out to this point, they've matched every one of them. I mean, you're talking with a win tomorrow, or win later today, I should say, to be maybe the best team in FCS history. So to see this progress has been really special.
Tom, we've seen these guys grow up, not just at SDSU, but a lot of these guys we've seen as high school kids. Just the maturity level. I mean, is there any doubt that we really feel that they're going to not come out of here with a win coming up here? It just feels like it's been building to this moment almost.
Yeah, the Jacks are inevitable this year. I mean, there's really no doubt about it, I think. But I'm old enough to be the age of a lot of their parents, so I love talking to a lot of the parents. But you're talking about guys like Zach Hines and Tucker Large. Zach Hines, I remember him from when he was this tall and not this tall. So it's been fun to watch those guys grow up and just how they matured in interviews and things like that, and how they matured as football players. That's been a lot of fun.
I'm glad you didn't say since Zach was little, because he was never little.
Yeah. Came out
What's cool about this is the fact there are so many homegrown kids on the team. I love that about this.
No, it's a great part of the story. It is, and I think it's part of why SDSU is as successful as it is, and why this team has stayed together. Because, and I know, Tom, you agree, we feel like this is kind of the last of a dying breed, and from the standpoint that with the NIL situations and with the transfer portal and everything else, you got so many guys that are one and dones or wanting to go other places. This crew stayed together because of what SDSU means to them, because they had built-in relationships with individuals here and with the campus long before they actually enrolled.
All right, so we look at Montana. There's some similarities. I mean, it almost feels a little like a flip scenario, because now they're the upstart conference champion. They got the coach who wants to get over the hump, win the first national champion for him, and they're facing the defending champ who may be starting a dynasty. You kind of see some similarities from a year ago.
You do, and both teams and every team tries to play, we're the underdog and nobody believes in us, and everybody tries to play that up a little bit. But Montana, yes, from their golden days when they were winning FCS championships, they kind of disappeared for a little bit and now back, so that's awesome to see. So they can kind of play on that yeah, we're back and we're one of the blue bloods, but we're still kind of an underdog in this game. So, but for the Jackrabbits, I mean, you know, they talk about we've had this team together for so long, and we just have this thing where we're going to finish it off and we're going to focus. And I know that is a big thing with their mental health coach, and it's going to be fantastic to see South Dakota State get out of here with another back-to-back championship.
All right, last question. We'll let you both answer this. If the Jackrabbits play their game, and we've seen them do it a lot, they're not going to win 59-0, but if they play their game, I don't see them lose.
It's awfully hard to think that they're going to lose if they play up to their level of capability. It's hard to do that against a team like Montana, but this team with so many NFL prospects, I mean, this is going to be a tough mountain to climb for anybody if they play to the level they're capable of.
Yeah, the Jacks players said yesterday, limit big plays. We know Montana's explosive, but I think last year we were a little hesitant to predict that South Dakota State would beat North Dakota State the way they did, but you got to think South Dakota State is going to do what they can do. They're a 13-point favorite, and I think, you know, that's a real possibility at least.
As long as they don't kick the ball to Junior Bergen, I don't think it's close.
Well, they had to kick it to Tucker Large, too, so I guess we'll see what happens.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Point.
Both teams would be smart if they kick it out of bounds. Gentlemen, thanks a bunch. It's always fun hanging out with you guys.
Good to see you back. See you guys.
All right, when we come back, some final words about today's game. Kickoff is right around the corner. Back on road to Frisco right after this break. We are getting really close to kickoff time. It's getting kind of exciting. Number one against number two, both with phenomenal fan bases.
And there is certainly some history between these two, especially for Jimmy Rogers.
You've been
South
talking
Dakota
about
State
this
head
for
coach.
weeks.
Yeah, you might say it's personal for Jimmy. We go back to 2009 in the first round of the FCS playoffs, SDSU's first ever playoff game. The Jacks were blowing the Grizzlies, the number one seed, out. SDSU took an early 27-0 lead. It was still 48-21 before Montana mounted a stunning rally, scoring the game's final 40 points in a shocking 61-48 win. It was Jimmy's final game as a Jackrabbit, and he will never forget what it felt like to walk off that field in Missoula.
I didn't forget about it. I think about it constantly. That was a tough moment in my life, and for these guys, it would be a tough moment in their life too if we were to come out and not play our best in this football game. And so we as coaches have done everything we can to try to put these guys in the right situation to have success today so they can experience a win one last time together in what will be an unbelievable venue and a great atmosphere against one of the best teams in college football.
Kind of cool that it's 1 against 2, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And honestly, if the bracket's done right, you know, I think that's what you'd expect. It doesn't always happen, but I'm excited to play Montana, but we would have been excited to play anybody.
Well, that's true, but I think he's even more excited to play Montana. Again, here's your matchup, 1 against 2. That seldom happens in football, in any sport, that you get through all the way through a playoff process, and it's 1 against 2. Jacks are defending national champions. They've won 28 straight. Grizzlies, again, we talked about it throughout the show. They've got a lot of history here, so they're not going to be scared by the big stage like some might be.
And you can't look at the past meetings, but SDSU's had some funky games with them in the past. There was a playoff game in 2015. And you go back to 93, SDSU had a big lead on Montana and gave it up. So it's kind of one of those things. Jimmy's always said this team likes to have narratives and things to break down. This is one more team they've never beaten before, so it's something I think this team will enjoy if they can end that. And one more thing for this team to break down on their way out the door.
The one thing I'll say about these guys, South Dakota State, they are so focused. Yes, we've talked about the fact that they've had fun here, but they are here on a mission. It's a business trip for these guys, and yes, they've let down their hair at times and gone to the swimming pool and the jacuzzi, and they've been wandering through the lobby and having a good time. But they are here to win a football game, and their year would not be complete if they don't do that.
No, and I think at the same time too, I like the fact that they have kept that focus. We talked about them still having fun. They keep it in the greater perspective too, and I think it's not just that they're up in their room and just sequestered all the time. They really are a brotherhood. They're a family. It's not just words. It means a lot here, and it is a different thing. And you feel it and you see it, and you certainly, obviously, we're not trying to be just total homers, but we do hope they can finish it out the right way.
Well, the thing is, we talked about it earlier in the show, they've got some great recruits coming in. Yep. But they're losing a senior class that's been together for longer than any senior class has ever been
COVID
together.
And everything, yeah.
And so that's why I find it so hard to think that anybody could beat them because they're a unit, and they've been a unit for longer than any other unit, and that is super important.
It just feels like if Montana were to win, they would have to play both their best game, and SDSU would need to make some mistakes. It does feel like it's going to be SDSU would have to have a lot of stuff go wrong.
All right. Thanks for watching the show today. We're going to finish by taking a look back on how these amazing Jackrabbits have made it here to Frisco. Enjoy the game, and we'll be back with the post game after the game is over.
Ring the bell, Jackrabbit Nation. Your football team is the FCS National Champions.
We made a statement in 2022 in the 22 season. But as I told the guys last night, that statement is now the standard.
It's on the work. Go time, let's go.
Throws, pass, batted into the air, juggled, and intercepted. It was deflected by Large. Tervier batted it up into the air, then Large dove and came up with it. Leaf flicker back to Gronowski, has a man wide open down the right seam. It's Jaden Youngke who makes the leaping grab in the end zone. Gronowski will run right with a lead block, following Gus Miller along the right sideline to the checkerboard. Gronowski screen right side, catch is made, breaking the tackle. Griffin Weldy down the right numbers. Touchdown, Jackrabbits! Gronowski will throw it down the right numbers. Catch is made in stride by Jaden Youngke, and he's gone. Stay home. Ansel Johnson starts right, weaves his way around the left edge. Mark Gronowski throws the lead block. That leads him into the end zone.
It's Jack's win, baby. It's Jack's win.